to rotate the phone, but do you think that matters? So now I have to rotate the phone?
Yeah, look.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm wondering if you can hear me, if you are ready to do some cocktails. I have been working on cocktails for a while, so this is something new for some of you, and I've been trying to experiment a little in my own home, so let's get started. We're going to do the Quarantini, which really seems pretty appropriate for now. On my Facebook page or on my website, there are the recipes for the Quarantini, and you can get those off of there. And you can make it either with vodka or gin. I'm going to make it with gin because I like gin, but you can do either. To start, before I get started making the cocktails, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Liz Barber, and I'm really excited to be here on my first Facebook Live. So if you're having trouble hearing this, please let me know. If you are able to hear everything, just give me a little smiley face and let me know what's going on. Anyway, here we go. We're going to start with this. We're going to do add our ice first. You want to make sure you add your ice to your mixer. So I have plenty of ice. Most drinks are made with a basic group of ingredients. So first we're going to start with obviously our alcohol. As I mentioned, like the gin, you can use vodka in this. You could even do whiskey if you wanted to in this. So we're going to do about 3 ounces. And then we're going to go ahead and add our citrus. In this case, we're going to use lemon. Now, I did want to show you the idea of making your own lemon juice. So here I have a glass, and I have a nice little strainer. And we take our lemon. When you are choosing lemons from the grocery store, make sure that you choose lemons that are round. They do work better when they're more juicy. I don't know why that is, but someone gave me that hint. When you take your lemon and you're going to squeeze it, first put it down on your cutting board and roll the lemon with some pressure. And that way you're essentially squeezing it from the inside. You're going to make it so it's nice and soft. Okay, and you can see that we've got a nice juicy lemon here. And then we're going to go ahead and cut that in half. Put it over a little strainer. I like this small one. I think it works really well. And so I'm going to go ahead and get the juice out. So what I do is I take my fork and I stick it into the lemon and just squeeze it right into my strainer. Or you could squeeze it into a bowl and then just strain it through afterwards if you'd like, okay? So you saw how easy that came out. Now, I have already gone ahead and done some lemon juice. I like to pre-squeeze my lemon juice. I keep them in these little bottles. You can get these at like Target or something. And I stick them in the freezer. So anytime I need lemon juice, I can pull them out and I've got a couple of ounces of lemon juice ready to go. So in this recipe, we're going to use a couple ounces. We're going to use 2 ounces of lemon. You always follow a recipe. You start with it, and then you can change that up if you want. So we're going to do a couple ounces of lemon juice. Don't buy the already squeezed lemon juice in a jar. It's just not going to taste the same. You want to do it on your own, okay? So we've got our lemon juice. and in that goes with our vodka. Now the other element of a good cocktail is going to be some kind of a sweet, either a syrup, or you can use honey. In this case we're going to use honey. You could use maple syrup if you like. You're going to create a simple syrup of some sort. So the basic recipe of a simple syrup is 1 part water and 1 part sugar. Or if you're going to make a honey simple syrup, it's going to be 1 part water, 1 part honey. All you want to do is heat it until it all melts, until the sugar melts. If you're going to keep this stored in your refrigerator for a long period of time, then what you want to do is go ahead and cook it for about 3 minutes and then cool it down before you put it in your drink. I like to put my simple syrups in bottles like this. This is actually a color applicator. For those of you who color your hair at home, you know what I'm talking about. And I sometimes snip off the tip. I know that this is a honey syrup. This I got at, I think I got them at Walmart. They have a little top to them. So that's really nice. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and use our honey. And I'm just gonna pour it. This is about a tablespoon's worth of honey. So I'm gonna just pour it right into my spoon. My 1 tablespoon, and mix that in. Now this recipe calls for straight honey. Remember I told you that you typically mix it 1-to-1 water and honey to make a honey simple syrup. But in this case, we're using straight honey, and I think it's because of all that lemon. That's a lot of lemon for 1 cocktail. All right, then the fun part, we've got plenty of ice in there, a couple of cups of ice. And then you put your mixing top on. It goes right in here, and you give it a good shake. Now you want to shake it until you see that frost on the outside of your shaker. Give it a good 30 seconds, okay? Really makes a huge difference to shake your cocktail in with the ice before you serve it, rather than just pouring it over ice. You really want to thoroughly chill your cocktail. Now, we have here some beautiful glasses. Typically a martini, this is a Quarantini, so we're going to serve it in a coupe glass, no ice in it. You certainly could pour this over ice if you want. You could just pour this whole thing into a glass and drink that if you want. But let's pretty up our glass. So we have here the glass, and I'm just going to put some lemon juice on the outside of the glass. I am not a fan of too much salt on the rim or sugary finish on the rim, so I like it right on the outside. This container here, this has our Emergen-C, which is it's a sugar packet that has a lot of vitamin C in it. So because we want to stay healthy in our Quarantini, we're going to add the Emergen-C, and we're just going to run it around the outside of the rim of our glass. It's so beautiful. This is a raspberry, so of course it's going to have a little pink to it, okay, as you can see there. And then we're going to go ahead and take our strainer. Great to have a full bar set if you can, and then pour it right in to our glass. Beautiful. Okay. And then you can either rim it with a lemon, you can put the lemon in, or you can make your own lemon zest, a lemon peel. So you just take your lemon, take your regular peel, and nice and light, don't go hard on that. Turn your lemon and stick it right on the rim. So there's our first cocktail. This is our Quarantini, which I've been drinking already. Lemony, it's got just the right amount of sweetness. So I'm going to set this over here for our finished Quarantinis. I just want to check on my camera and see how we're doing. I've got some great friends, Alice Ann from high school. Hello, Alice. Pam Shepard, one of my best friends from high school. I wish you were here too, honey. Holly Joe, great to hear from you. I'm so excited. And ladies, I've been talking to Heather every day, just so you know. So wonderful news from Heather. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and do our next cocktail. let's see, what should we do? All right, so the next cocktail is going to be a whiskey sour. And why am I doing this one? It's my favorite cocktail. I enjoy this. Whenever we have cocktails, it's the one that I choose. So let me just dump out my canister here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our whiskey sour. Now, you'll notice there are common ingredients in these cocktails, and it's really up to the chef to add a little something different, maybe, to make their cocktails a little bit off the regular beaten path. So the whiskey sour is a classic cocktail. If I was just thinking about that today, it was the first cocktail I ever had with my father. My 16th birthday, he took me out for dinner to the Chart House. Those of you from my hometown remember the Chart House. And he let me order a whiskey sour on my 16th birthday. Back then you could do that. And I fell in love with it then. So let me make a whiskey sour for you. Now I'm going to do a couple of things that are a little different. This recipe is from one of my favorite cookbooks called Small Victories. I recommend it to anybody. I think you'll enjoy it. Julia Turshen is the author. And so this particular one is made, the whiskey sour is made with maple syrup. Now, certainly you could do it with honey if you like. You could do it with a simple syrup if you like. So we're going to do that with a little bit of maple syrup. And so we want to get our maple syrup, and we're going to do about 1 ounce. Oh, let me put my ice in. Again, make sure you have a lot of ice in your mixer. All right, we're going to go ahead and add in 1 ounce of maple syrup. Now, you can adjust these ingredients. As I say to people in my cooking classes, you know, today the recipe is mine, tomorrow it's yours. Go right ahead and make some adjustments if you like. The honey would be really nice in this one. All right, so we have our maple syrup in there. We're going to go back to our lemon juice, and we're going to add that. So we're going to do 2 ounces of the lemon juice. And add that in there. And then we're going to use whiskey, but you could use bourbon if you wanted. But as you can see, when we did our quarantini, all of the ingredients were kind of the same. So do you have to make this a whiskey drink? No. Go ahead and add vodka to it. Try it with tequila if you like. You know, enjoy switching things up a little bit. So I'm going to use some Jack Daniels. This is a favorite from long ago. And we're going to go ahead and add 3 ounces of Jack Daniels in there. I'll tell you something, a lot of the recipes that I've been reading call for 2 ounces of the spirit, and I always take it up to 3. I just like it. So then we're going to add some bitters. Now the bitters help to balance out the flavor. There's this flavor with the whiskey, which is a little on the sweet side, added to your maple syrup in here. We've got our lemon in there. We're going to balance it out. Now, there are so many different types of bitters that you can get out there. As a matter of fact, chefs are making bitters as a very special niche part of their repertoire. So go ahead and try different ones. This is the classic bitter that you can get at the grocery store. Believe it or not, that's where you would get it. And then I came across orange bitters. And so we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of the orange bitters. You want to use a few dashes. All right, and then you can make the cocktail, taste it, and then pour a couple of those on top if you'd like. So we've got our bitters, and we're pretty much all set. Oh, one last ingredient. To make it a classic whiskey sour, you're going to add egg white. All right, now, if you're vegetarian or vegan and you don't want to use egg whites, believe it or not, you can buy a can of chickpeas, strain out the chickpeas, take that liquor that's left, and take a couple tablespoons of that and shake it into your drink. And you can actually whip this up like egg whites. It's pretty amazing. So if you don't want to use egg, go ahead and use the liquor from the chickpeas. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to separate our eggs. Okay. And then we have our egg white in here. Pour it right in. The ice in here and the shaking is going to froth that egg right up. All right? Got some comments I want to check out. Kathy McDonough is watching. Thank you. I know you're one of my favorite cocktail partners, always willing. My sister Evans, one of my favorite people in the world, is watching, so thank you. Where's Lorenzo? He better be watching. All right, we're going to give this a really good shake. Now, typically a whiskey sour is served in a coupe glass, but we're going to go ahead and put that right into a cocktail glass. So we're going to add all of our ice right in there. Oh my goodness, whiskey sour. You see how that egg white froth right up? Beautiful. Now we can garnish this with orange if you want, but typically you would do that, and you could also add lemon if you like. So let's do our orange. We're going to go ahead and slice this. What you could do is you could muddle the orange in the bottom of the glass if you like. We're going to cut this nice and thin, cut right into the middle, and voila, whiskey sour. All right, I get a taste. Okay, this is always my favorite. It's always my favorite in the winter. It's always my favorite in the summer, in the fall, any time of year. This is my favorite. You're going to give that a try. All right, and then finally, we're going to use one of my favorite distilleries based in Roxbury, Mass. Does a mixology class that Ted and I took, my husband and I took about 2 years ago. He's a beer drinker, and for those of you locally here in the Nashua area, we just had a beer delivery from one of our favorite breweries. So look around at your breweries because they are open now and they are happy to deliver the beer. And so we were really fortunate. Of course, it's one of our favorites here in Merrimack. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and this is a local distillery, and they make all different kinds of spirits. But what I love that they make is they make an already prepared old-fashioned and another classic cocktail. This is one of my favorites for the evening. If it's been a long day, we're done watching the news and we settle into a movie or something, this is one of my favorite classic cocktails. And the beauty of the old-fashioned in this form is that it's already made for me. It's just a question of pouring it over ice. So you want to select your glass. These are a low ball glass so that you're going to put a nice ice cube in there and then pour your drink over top. So I'm going to go with my plain glass, and I am going to go a little out here, and we're going to do a beautiful ice cube. You can have these, you can buy a form that will make ice cubes that are perfectly round. I'm sure you've seen them in the bars. They're pretty popular. So that goes right in. All right, and we're going to go ahead and pour alcohol. Let me just come over again. I'm having a hard time reading the comments. So, okay, Ted, my husband, says, could you bring one of those upstairs when you have time? I definitely will. Although we're going to wait for dinner first here. Okay, so in goes our old-fashioned. So we're going to use, you can do, they say 2 to 3 fingers full. So you just want to measure your fingers or just as much as you like. Okay, so that goes over the ice. Now, to finish this off, we can do a couple of things. First, we're going to add a cherry. Now, I wanted to show you there is a difference in cherries. It matters in the flavor of the cocktail. What I find is that maraschino cherries available at any grocery store. Very sweet, very sugary, very light. I had a good friend of mine bring me a bottle of the Luxardo cherries. I had never had them before. And she said, this is the only cherry you should be having. So here we go. Open this up, and I wanted to show you what this looks like. It's actually in this beautiful cherry syrup. So these are very dark, really beautiful. We're gonna pop one of those right in there. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slice up a little bit of orange here. And I'm gonna go nice and thin. And stick that. Let's see if we can get that right on the side. Move my cherry out of the way. There we go. Beautiful presentation. Okay, so here is our classic old-fashioned, served in a rocks glass with a nice round ice cube. Makes it nice and cold. Let me have a sip of this one too. Okay, so how am I gonna drink all of these? I've got two guys upstairs. I've got Ted and Jack. They're both gonna help me, and then we're gonna order from our local restaurant and go pick it up, and we're gonna support our local restaurants. I know you guys are all kind of hunkering down in the house. Give yourself a little bit of pat on the back. You're doing a great job. I'm so proud of everybody. I know there are a lot of ways to entertain yourselves. I'm gonna be doing more of these. I'm just trying to figure out the equipment and all of that. So keep an eye on my Facebook page, which is The Creative Feast. You can come here to my personal page. Those friends of mine that have come through, thank you so much for watching today. And then you could go to my website. There's a lot there. I'm doing a lot these days in low carb cooking. I'm actually have all this time because my programs have been canceled. So I'm going to be working on a low carb cookbook. I do have an intermittent fasting Facebook page or Facebook group. We have our first phone conversation tomorrow, over Zoom. So you're welcome to join my group. It's called Live Free and Fast. And I think I did it. So thank you. Oh, Bernadette, hello. Hello, Bernadette. Hi, Chrissy. So great to hear from you. Barbara, wow, so nice to hear from you. My Aunt Flory is watching. Oh my goodness, that is really wonderful. So thank you all. Oh, Jeff, I see you. Thank you, Jeff. I hope the pups are doing well. Hi, Chrissy. Let's see, who else? Anna, hello, Anna, my neighbor. Neighbors are keeping strong. Oh, my son Jack was watching. Next time I'll get him in here. He'll help me finish this up. Hi, Kimber. My sweet daughter Haley is there. Maureen Porter, thank you so much. I saw the name of your new business. I think you're doing a great job. Local catering business. Leave It to Me Catering. Karen, a very dear friend and big supporter. And Matthew, one of my favorites, great photographer. So thank you all, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.